I have shown you benevolence, Guardian. Should the Awoken ever need an ally, I will call on you. And expect you to answer.
She's saying you owe us, Guardian.
Ominous warning given, that's the last we see of the Queen of the Reef. However, she is rumored to make an appearance in 2015's DLC The House of Wolves. I mean, she kind of controls the House of Wolves. It's going to be hard not to have her in it. Now, recently, there has been a leak of information about the House of Wolves, as shown by this chart, which details new legendary equipment, new exotics, and the focus of this video, the new activities released. Mainly, 3 new story missions, a new strike, maybe a PlayStation exclusive one, and the new raid. Now, most early adopters will remember a one-off special event titled The Queen's Wrath. With the release of the House of Wolves, we will finally see the return of the Queen's favorite reputation rank. Also returning will be Petrovenge, the Queen's emissary, who will distribute the story missions to players. Most players' previous rank may still stand, however, Bungie has reset the rank to the Iron Banner many times, so all the previous work players have done may be wiped away. Now, the narrative thread of the DLC, through the 3 story missions, has the House of Wolves rebelling against the Queen, and since we as Guardians owe the Queen for her gifting the Eye of the Gatelord upon us,
we gift it, in sympathy for their traveler.
we need to help her quell the rebellion and restore order to her fallen house. The first mission, titled Gone to Ground, has Guardians going to the Cosmodrome on Earth to track down the Kell that revolted against the Queen. They will be going through the rocket yards to the previously locked away area, King's Watch, which you can get into currently via glitching through walls. They'll travel through the area fighting off numerous Fallen and meet, well, we're not exactly sure yet. I mean, it's an Ultra Captain, and his dying animation has him dying like a boss. Could be the Kell, but it could be somebody else. The bounties shown in the leak name the captain Paskin, and he is called the King Baron, and we must eliminate him to weaken the House of Wolves' resolve. However, the Fallen that currently reside in King's Watch are not even from the House of Wolves. They are from the House of Kings, which makes sense considering the area is called King's Watch. So maybe we'll see some cooperation from the Fallen houses to get their brethren out from under the iron fist of the Queen of the Reef. Or, much more likely, Paskin is plotting to end the rebellion himself and thus increase power in his own fallen house, the House of Kings. The Guardians return to Petrovenge, and she has another mission for them, named Wolf Harvest. She has tracked down several House of Wolves traitors hiding in the fallen House of Winter on Venus, and tasks the Guardians to eliminate them. The Guardians track down the traitors, presumably on the House of Winter's ketch.
A ketch? It must belong to the House of Winter.
And kill the rest of the traitors. Now, another bounty in the leak names the boss for this mission Lixor and calls him Wolfblade. Based on his name, Lixor may be an assassin in the form of a stealth vandal. If you remember, we killed Draxus, who was the House of Winter's former Kell. It is assumed that Lixor was sent in to kill the warring barons of the House of Winter to convince the rest of the Fallen to join the House of Wolves and therefore strengthen their rebellion. As far as I can tell, there's no secret area within the House of Winter's catch. However, there are many darkness doors that open when you whip out your ghost, and there are also many doors that don't open when you whip out your ghost. It is possible that on our journey through this, during this mission, we may see a part of the catch we haven't seen before. The Guardians return to Petrovenge victorious. However, she has received word that Skolis, the Wolf Kell, has seized control of this Vex Citadel on Venus. You know, that giant floating thing you can see in the sky. Anyway, you fight through numerous Vex, and you go up an awesome grav lift. Presumably, when you get to the terminus, you find that the Fallen have already taken control of it. You must fight through them and ascend to the top to find their Kell and slay him to end this insurrection once and for all. Now, we can't ascend all the way up the terminus. However, we can get into the grav lift into the terminus by jumping up some weird geometry on the left side of the wall in the room of the grav lift. Once you get to the end of the terminus, you see this weird structure. I'm assuming during the mission you'll deploy your ghost and it'll take you to another place. I mean, the Vex can create portals through time. I guarantee this isn't the end of their structure. So we've slain Skullus, the Wolfkill, and ended the rebellion. However, we're still not done. We return to Petrovenge, and she tasks us with assaulting a fallen wolf ship in the Ocean of Storms on Earth's moon to destroy a fallen walker. Now think, how many times have you seen a ketch above the moon? Now, the ketch is actually cloaked and located above this cylindrical moon station thing, and it is called the Traitor's Ketch. Well, to get to the ketch, the Guardians have to fight through the Temple of Crota to get to a teleporter that actually takes them up to the Traitor's Ketch. They fight their way through the ketch and get to a cargo bay which houses 2 fallen walkers. The walkers here will be the boss of this strike. Now you can also get into the Traitor's Ketch area via glitching through walls and going pretty much all the way through the Temple of Crota to get into the teleporter room. And finally, what everyone's been waiting for, the raid. In the leak, the raid is titled The Arena and takes place in an area we've seen in cutscenes but haven't actually played in, the Reef. The description, which reads, "Test yourself," and the title seem to imply that the Guardians are fighting for their lives, but not out of survival, but out of sport. She will most likely release powerful prisoners she has stored in her prison of elders. Once the Queen is finally satisfied with the show that the Guardians have performed, then she will permit them to leave the arena with their lives and the loot that they've gotten off of everything, I guess. Now that was information from the leak, but also stuff gleaned from Destiny itself to help fill in some of the gaps. Now I will be transitioning from discussing the content from the leak to discussing how real I think the leak likely is. Now in September, a Destiny player was completely locked out of every activity in Destiny, including DLC missions from the Dark Below and the House of Wolves that were not yet released. Using this, we can check to see how the Dark Below changed during development, and use that to predict the changes the House of Wolves missions will likely have. For several missions in the Dark Below, names and descriptions were changed, and we can assume the mission objectives themselves received some revisions. In fact, the Siege of the Warmind mission doesn't appear anywhere, and the seeding mission has been eliminated and was probably used as the basis for Omnigul making multiple appearances in the Dark Below missions. However, the names for the House of Wolves story missions from the leak are actually directly lifted from this bug, and the descriptions are just rewordings of the descriptions given from the bug. Judging by the changes the Dark Below went through in development, we can argue that the House of Wolves story missions will also see revisions. Locations can change, names will change, and all the descriptions may change. Also, Bungie has said that cooperation between players is a goal they have in mind with Destiny. The strikes require 3 players to complete, and the raids are almost impossible without a full fire team. They show this in the Dark Below, where you can take on the 3 story missions by yourself, but in the culmination of the story, it requires the cooperation of 3 Guardians to take down Omnigul, the end of the story of the DLC. They were pushing the cooperative nature of the game and closing the narrative loop with the elimination of Omnigul being required in a strike. Therefore, it would make sense that they would push for a cooperative closure for the narrative thread in the House of Wolves as well. However, according to the leak, the Guardians can single-handedly take down the leader of a rebellion in a story mission, but need help to take down a couple of robots in a strike, which seems to take place after the elimination of the Kell. In my opinion, it would make more sense having 1 Guardian tackle the fallen walkers, but needing a concentrated, coordinated effort between 3 to eliminate the leader of a fallen house that is mounting a rebellion. We know the DLC will have a strike on the moon, as seen from this bug. And with the name Traitor's Ketch, it would only make sense to have us eliminate the Kell on his ketch on the moon. However, in exploring the ketch, all you get is to a cargo bay with 2 fallen walkers in it. It doesn't seem like a place you would have a showdown with a Kell. Like on the Winter ship, we fought Draxus in his throne room. Now finally, the raid. I, for one, don't believe it will be called the Arena, nor will it take place in an arena. Throughout Destiny, Bungie has dropped a lot of hints about their raids, like
Protect the realms the Vex keep locked out of time. Time? That can't be right. These ruins predate humanity by a few billion years. Vex are coursing through them.
Long ago, the moon fell to Crota. He wielded a sword so dark it drained whatever light it touched. Now Crota sleeps.
Mappings of a Vex underworld, a place they called the Vault of Glass. They're all about a place called the Temple of Crota.
How many times has a hint been dropped about an arena that the Queen of the Reef uses for her enjoyment? Nowhere in the dialogue of Destiny, nor in the Grimoire cards, is it implied that the Queen has an arena. Therefore, I don't believe this is accurate either. However, there is something that is mentioned several times in the game and the Grimoire cards as being located in the Reef.
Story is they raided the prison of elders in the Reef.
Now this is just my theory, but there has to be a reason the House of Wolves is rebelling against the Queen. It is known that although the Queen slayed the previous Kel, she did not slay the House of Wolves Prime, Calyx. In the DLC, it may be that Calyx reveals himself, chooses the new Kel, and attacks the prison of elders in an effort to release his former followers and recruit new ones. The Guardians must defend the prison while Calyx is releasing prisoners to attack them. The mid-boss halfway through may be the new Kel, with the final raid boss being Calyx himself. With his elimination, the House of Wolves will forever stay under the Queen's control. Now that's just my theory, and I believe it's more likely than an arena that the Queen has inexplicably had, but never mentioned anywhere until now. Since most of the information from the leak seems pulled directly from the bug in September, it can be assumed that the leak likely isn't very accurate. And until they reveal anything, all we're going to have is our theories. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Those were just the ideas I got from looking at the leak. Feel free to look at it yourself and see if you come up with anything different. Bye!